Black Market Voices assisted in producing the show for no monetary gain with permission as a transformative work. All rights remain with their respective creators, and all effects were obtained legally. Please support the parent media and the original work. Cloud City by SSJTrinity. Read by Charliegolightly. Chapter 7. It's a quick walk to the final murder site. This would be the 77th victim. The one before the 78th, which happened yesterday? The day before? Before his life lit itself on fire and jumped off the roof. I don't like to argue with witches, but I feel like we're wasting time. Yeah, well, it's my time to waste. Arthur can't make it sound less bitter. Sorry. Parker's volume drops. Arthur shrugs. I knew the deal. Long as John does what he's promised, I don't care. A lie. He cares now. He no longer actively wants to die. Apparently, visiting murder scenes was the perfect time for his brain to start mulling. He finds himself wondering if Hasta leaking into him is why everybody finds him fuckable all of a sudden. That's an unpleasant thought. He also finds himself wondering why he no longer feels like revenge, then death is his only option. Is this strange desire to continue betraying his daughter? No, it's not. He hadn't even realized he'd changed until it seemed Hasta betrayed him. Hadn't realized until Hasta took over, took his eye, took his hand. He's begun to enjoy living again, and isn't even sure when that happened. Asenath helped, though. She genuinely did. When he'd made his contract, had he made a mistake? No. Just thinking about Faro's murderer fills him with such sickness. No, he hadn't made a mistake. He just hadn't fully understood the cost.
Easy, Arthur. You weren't breathing right.
He isn't breathing at all. Arthur exhales with a whoosh. In here. Grouchily, Parker opens the final door, snapping yet more police tape. And with no warning, Hasta fills Arthur's sight. The last ring on his right hand pops, stinging. A terrible feeling, but he can barely pay attention. This room is filth. Not filthy. Filth. There is a difference. The rot, the stench, the nastiness and horror. It's all too much, too gross, and the smell of it coats his tongue and his throat. There are bugs everywhere in here, crawling in and out of the walls, swimming through the carpet fibers like reeds, buzzing in the dead light bulbs, dripping with little click-scurry sounds from the faucets. Arthur stumbles back outside and falls to his knees, retching. And Parker, apparently, sees none of it. Arthur! What the fuck? Arthur! Arthur throws up in the street. Nothing but acid, but it comes up anyway.
Easy, Arthur. This is because of who was trying to come through. I know who it is now.
Arthur makes a gagging sound. There's nothing left to vomit.
I know which god, but we need to go back in there so we can identify the priest. They left etheric resonance. They must have been in a rush. This is precisely what we were hoping for. A sloppy scene.
Arthur! I'm okay. Arthur gasped, gulping the comparatively fresh air of the street this close to the ocean. I'm okay. Sure you are, says Parker, trying to pull him to his feet. This is what's coming through? He manages.
Yes. The great old one coming through heralds these things. Rot, perversion, corruption.
Fuck. This thing can't be loosed on the world. He has to stop it from happening. Sorry, gasps Arthur. Filth. In there. Rot. Filth? Parker sounds completely confused. He looks at the room, then back to Arthur. What are you talking about? It's horrible, Arthur gasps. Parker is silent. Have to go back in. You sure about that? Didn't find the resonance yet. He has to. Has to solve this. Has to get to the bottom of this. Has to find the human who's willingly channeling this horror. He feels like he's drowning.
Arthur, I need you.
He will find the resonance of the human who did this. The room looks so normal from one point of view. Empty. Ordinary. Whitewashed walls, a threadbare carpet, rife with that chemical smell of a place often cleaned and used by too many people. Beneath that is the truth. And with more of Haster's vision, the first ring of his left hand pops. There are weird spirit maggots here, and old food here, and flesh left to fester blue and green. There is stench that defies reason, and stains that rip logic into tiny, miserable shreds. A detritus spread throughout, like something gooey exploded, like someone took old, blotchy meat and chopped it into pepper-sized flakes, then sneezed on them to scatter them everywhere. There are smears, as if whatever spread it moved in one direction as it spewed. At last, through it, under it, he can see the resonance of the human who chose to be involved with this horror. The spiritual fingerprint, unmistakable, unique, at last. The second ring on his left hand pops. Arthur heaves again, and finally ends up outside on the sidewalk, gulping fresh air. He is crying. Haster gives back his human sight, what's left of it. Arthur can see through his right eye, but it's blended, framed in shadow. Arthur makes a sound. Even he's not sure what it is. A sob? Maybe?
Easy. This is good. You found the signature. We can take it back to Asenath and find the fool doing this.
Why? Why did it? Arthur is heaving again. Arthur? Parker puts his hand on Arthur's shoulder. Arthur swallows. Asenath, he chokes. I got a resonance. I can identify the person. Asenath needs it. No. That takes a moment to pass. What? You got a resonance? You know who did this? Then we're going to the precinct.
We don't need to make a damn police report. We need to go back to Asenath.
Parker, I need the witch. No, you fucking don't. But... Arthur groans. Fuck. I'm gonna be sick again. You actually got it, says Parker, low. You're sure you got the etheric resonance? Yeah, I did. Fuck, says Parker quietly. Lucky me, Arthur murmured. Come on. Parker pulls him to his feet.
Arthur, we don't know who we can trust. This is a bad idea.
Too big. It was too big. Arthur heaves again, empty stomach rebelling. John, I don't know what the fuck you think I can do alone. But...
Can trust me. That's what you can do.
Arthur swallows around the lump in his throat. I gotcha, says Parker, manhandling him toward the car. Arthur feels weak as a kitten. He tries to pull back, but it does no good. No. Parker, I need Asenath. I'll call her. You've got information. I can't let you go. It's my hands or cuffs. Your choice. Great. Just great. Did he really want to fight Parker? Arthur isn't sure he can. That room. The awfulness in that room. He's not even fully standing on his own feet. Hasta sighs.
I understand. Your human frailty is a thing I forget sometimes. I forgive you.
Oh, what the fuck? Arthur mutters, thinking he's a lot more frail because of Hasta, but he doesn't have the energy to argue. He is all but carried, hitching tears he cannot fight, shuddering, and more than half blind. Why did it have to be his eyes? Funny, he hadn't expected the blindness. Of all the horrors he'd imagined, prepared himself for prior to his contract, he really hadn't thought his sight would go first. That felt like being trapped, somehow. Felt like being cheated. How long would he live in darkness once Hasta had it all? He can't imagine days of it. Weeks. Months. Years. Then again, it won't be years. It won't even be weeks at the rate this was happening. Maybe it's good it's going so fast, he says, which probably makes no sense. Sure, says Parker, in the tone one used to comfort a crazy person. Arthur lets Parker strap him in, and sits in the car seat, silent. Hasta sighs.
I did spoil you, I suppose.
John, I can't.
It's all right. Don't blame me. You're only human, after all.
And, bizarrely, his left hand lifts to wipe away his tears. Arthur has no space in his head to understand the strangeness. He lets it happen. Says nothing as Parker drives toward the police station. Lets Hasta's hand grant small comfort in a world growing cruelly dark.